Senator Victor Carrington's ascent to power was nothing short of meteoric. From his early days as a local councilman, he has displayed a charisma and a vision that has captivated the electorate. His ambitious agenda, promising sweeping reforms, economic revitalization, and a return to integrity in government, won him widespread support. By the time he was elected to the Senate, he was already a household name, celebrated as a beacon of hope in a politically fractured nation. Yet, as the chapter unfolded, it became clear that the path to power was paved with more than just good intentions. The first inklings of trouble surfaced when whispers of Carrington's secret financial dealings with a controversial tech conglomerate began to circulate. Initially dismissed as baseless rumors, the allegations gained traction as more evidence came to light. Emily Thompson, Carrington's longtime aide, found herself in an increasingly untenable position. She had been with him since his early days, believing in his vision and his promise to bring change. As his closest confidant, she had access to information that most would never see. When she stumbled upon documents detailing Carrington's illicit transactions, her world began to unravel. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over Washington, D.C., Emily sat in her small apartment, the weight of her discovery pressing down on her. She stared back at the stack of papers in front of her, each page a testament to Carrington's deceit. Her phone buzzed, pulling her from her reverie. "Emily, it's Victor. We need to talk." His voice was uncharacteristically tense. "I know, Victor. I've seen the documents," she replied, her voice steady despite the turmoil within. There was a pause on the other end, then a sigh. "Meet me at the usual place. We'll discuss this." The usual place was a small, unassuming cafe tucked away in a quiet corner of the city. It was where they had often retreated to strategize, away from prying eyes. As Emily entered, she spotted Carrington seated at the corner table, his usual confidence replayed by a look of desperation. "Emily, I can explain," he began. But she held up a hand to stop him. "Save it, Victor. I've read the comments. I know what you've done." "It's not what you think," he pleaded. "The tech conglomerate offered me a deal I couldn't refuse. It was supposed to fund my campaign, to ensure we had the resources to make real change." "By selling your principles?" she shot back. "By betraying the very people who put their faith in you?" He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture of frustration. It was never about betrayal. It was about survival. About ensuring that we could continue to fight for what's right. "By doing what's wrong?" she countered. "How do you plan to salvage your reputation now that this is out in the open?" "I have a plan," he said. His eyes hardened. "I'll address the nation, explain my side of the story. I'll make them understand." "And what about the people you've hurt? What about the trust you've shattered?" she asked, her voice tinged with bitterness. "I'll make it right," he insisted. "I'll do whatever it takes." As the conversation wore on, Emily's resolve solidified. She could no longer stand by and watch Carrington's web of deceit unravel without taking a stand. The following days were a whirlwind of media frenzy and public outrage. Carrington's once stellar reputation was in tatters, and the pressure to resign mounted. The climax of the chaos came with the announcement of the congressional hearing. Carrington, displaying a facade of confidence, masking his underlying fear, prepared to face his accusers. Emily, torn between loyalty and disgust, knew she had to make a decision. The day of the hearing arrived, and the atmosphere was electric with tension. Reporters and spectators filled the chamber, their eyes fixed on the man who had been once a symbol of hope. Carrington entered, his usual charm replaced by a grim determination. Emily sat in the audience, her heart pounding. As the hearing began, Carrington took the stand. He spoke with a measured tone, outlining his version of the events, attempting to paint himself as a victim of circumstance. The room was silent, hanging on his every word. "I admit, mistakes were made," he said, his voice steady. "But I ask you to consider the context. The pressure of politics, the need to secure funding for vital projects. I did what I believed was necessary to serve the greater good." The room erupted in a flurry of questions and accusations. Carrington parried each one with a practiced ease, but Emily could see the strain in his eyes. It was then that she made her decision. Rising from her seat, she made her way to the podium. The room fell silent as she spoke. "Senator Carrington, your words are eloquent, but they do not change the facts. The documents I have seen paint a clear picture of deceit and betrayal." Gasps filled the room as she produced a folder, placing it on the podium. "These are documents that detail your financial dealings with the tech conglomerate. They show a pattern of corruption that cannot be ignored." Carrington's face paled, but he maintained his composure. "Emily, what are you doing?" he hissed. "I'm doing what's right," she replied, her voice firm. "The people deserve the truth." The hearing descended into chaos as the documents were examined. Carrington's facade crumbled, and he was forced to step down, his political career in ruins. Emily, though vilified by some, found a strange sense of peace. She had done what she believed was right, even if it meant sacrificing her own future. In the aftermath, the nation began to heal. New leaders emerged, inspired by the lessons of the past. Emily, though no longer in the political spotlight, found her solace in her decision. She had stood up for what was right, and in doing so, had found her own sense of integrity. As for Carrington, he retreated from public life, a shadow of the man he once was. The scandals had left an indelible mark, a reminder of the price of ambition, unchecked by morality. And Emily? She continued to work behind the scenes, advocating for transparency and accountability, ensuring that the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. In the end, the chapter of Carrington's fall served as a cautionary tale, a reminder that power, when wielded without integrity, can lead to one's undoing. And in the quiet moments, as the nation moved forward, Emily found a renewed purpose, driven by the belief that truth, no matter how painful, was worth fighting for.